Well, now, here we are in Advent. A very, very wonderful time. We wear purple, except for next Sunday when we will wear pink. And there's only 2 times in the church's year where we wear pink. Both are in the preparation times of Lent and Advent. And Advent, that's why we have the purple and the pink colors here and the purple and pink ribbons on our Advent wreath. It's because we are preparing to celebrate in our hearts the feast of Christmas, when Jesus, the Son of God, was born of the Blessed Mother at Bethlehem. And so there's 4 candles for the 4 weeks that prepare us. And the reason why the 3rd candle is pink is because it shows we're halfway through our time of waiting. We're halfway through our time of waiting. And that gives us joy because we are much closer and closer to celebrating the incarnation, the gift of Christmas, of God with us, Emmanuel. Now imagine that when you received the notice from Consuelo that we were going to be scheduling finally the first communions, didn't that make you and your family happy? And especially since it's going to be happening before Christmas. You said Advent will be a very good time. We're also working on seeing we can get people confirmed too before that time, but we have to follow all the regulations so that everybody is safe. But we've been doing that, and even though we've only had maybe 2 or 3 or 4 families at a time, when the people came to the altar with their children and they knew that they were going to receive their first Holy Communion, people cried. Not because they were sad, but because of joy. And I said, oh my goodness, this is such a special time for you. And they also said, yes, Father, this is the first time we've been in church again in this building since March. And so I was really touched by the joy that can come in the midst of waiting. We're waiting for this pandemic to be over. We're waiting for the vaccine to be distributed. We're waiting for, people's jobs to open up again. We're waiting for so many things. But the point is that we are not doing this alone. There are many, many people that are helping. We already know the heroes on the front lines in the hospitals, but we also know that there are people who are helping to feed people who, because they're out of work, they don't have the money to put food on the table. And so we have Columbia Community Cares, and we've also had Lancaster Foods, and we've had a number of institutions cooperate with us, participate with us, so that the Wild Lake parking lot is not just a place to park your car, it's a place to come and get food. And then we now have moved people inside because of the cold weather. And even though I see people standing in line to go in and get food for their family, it fills me with a sense of joy because I know that people care about other people. And that is the sign that people are being fed by other people. And these other people who are volunteering to make sure that people don't go hungry, that they have food for themselves, whether they're an older person, whether they're a younger person, or they have children, that there are people in our community, in our church, that are working very hard to take care of one another. And that is why feeding somebody is a sign of what? Can anybody tell me? What's feeding somebody? A sign of, begins with an L, ends with an E, has an OVE in the middle of it? Very good. That's right. I see some hands going up. That's right. It's a sign of love. And that's what happens in this altar. When the Lord Jesus told us at the Last Supper, this is my body which will be given for you. This is my cup of my blood which will be poured out for you. And then he said, do this in memory of me. And so that's how we know that we are loved by Jesus, because he feeds us with his very self. Now, what a wonderful celebration. The camera is on all of you, I think, I hope. I was going to have you stand up and wave to the people back home who are watching you. Can we do that right now? Stand up, turn around, and then just wave to the camera. That's it, the one where the singer is. for all the people that are watching, for all the people that are praying with us from home. Have a seat. Go ahead. And you know, the fact that we can do this also makes us not only happy, joyful, but it gives us hope, because we know that one day things will be back to normal. But I think it's going to be a better normal. I think that having gone through this time of waiting, you know, that we will not take certain things for granted anymore. We won't take for granted the ability to just hug each other. We won't take for granted the ability to give each other a kiss without a mask. You know, we won't take for granted the food that's on our table, because we'll remember perhaps there were times where we didn't have as much. And we will remember how good it is simply to be able to come into church and pray again. And that's where waiting, Advent, prepares us to celebrate something, you know, the presence of Christ in our lives, the Word made flesh, and dwelling among us. It then gives us a better opportunity with mind and heart renewed to be grateful for all the joyful things that God has given us. So, for all of you who are here, for Croy and Leah and Patrick and Katerina and Danica and Kristen, we are very, very happy for you, and we are grateful to your families and to your teachers and catechists for the fact that they care about you so much that they've been doing all this, working on this so that you can make your first Holy Communion. And for all of our parishioners that are watching, you're making them happy too, because they love you and they care about you, but they also know what a precious gift communion is. So these are the words that we share. The scriptures that we hear in Advent talk about justice and peace and kindness meeting. Talks about, you know, the lion and the lamb next to each other without any harm or hurt. It talks about a peaceable kingdom, you know, where God's love dwells in everyone and every creature. And so that is something that we are working towards all the days that we live. Whether it's Advent or not, whether it's Lent or not, whether it's just ordinary time between Easter and Christmas, the point is that we take the time to show our love for one another. And we give each other the gifts of life that they really need. In some cases, it's food. In other cases, it's respect. In other times, it's living and caring.